Before we discussed k-means, remember we talked about the different ways you could categorize clustering methods. And we said that there is hard clustering methods, methods where a point goes into one and only one cluster, and then there are soft clustering methods. There, clusters are allowed to overlap, and a point can go into multiple clusters with various degrees of sort of belonging to that cluster. So k-means was an example of hard clustering. A point is assigned to one and only one cluster. One way to think of mixture models is you could think of it as a soft clustering. It's kind of like clustering, only points are assigned to multiple clusters, and they have a probability that they came from the clusters that you had. So that's the basic idea in soft clustering. Mixture models are, in general, they're probabilistically grounded ways of doing soft clustering. What I mean by probabilistically grounded is each cluster corresponds to a probability distribution in your d-dimensional space, and the points are viewed as samples from that probability distribution. So, and of course, what kind of a probability distribution it is depends on what kind of data you're dealing with. If your data is normal, real-valued observations, then typically you use a Gaussian for modeling each class. If your data is discrete, so if your data is words, then you'll use something multinomial. So we're going to go through a Gaussian mixture model. We're going to assume that our data is real valued. And for a Gaussian, each of those clusters, each of those models is going to have some parameters. And the parameters are going to be the mean, the center of the Gaussian, right? It's kind of similar to the centroid in k-means. And we're going to have a covariance. Right? So that's a matrix that's going to describe how spread out that cluster is in space and also how it is oriented in space. And of course, it is an unsupervised method, so the parameters, the means and the variances of your k clusters or distributions are not known in advance. So the EM algorithm is something that is used to automagically discover the means and the variances from the data set.